Hi everybody. What we're going to do today, we're going to look at the November 2021 paper, and we will be looking at the mathematics, the Unit 1 NUMB calculator and intermediate tier. So this is how it works. If you want to look at the particular question in the paper, for example, question 10, you can just go straight to the question 10. Under the description, there will be chapters with all the term on there. So just click on the term and click on the question, then you'll be able to see the question without having to go through the whole paper. So let's get started. Question 1. Calculate the size of angle X in the right angle triangle shown below. So you've got a right angle triangle, so that of course has to be 90 degrees. To work out X, all you got to do is 180 degrees, take away 90 plus 37, because angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so that'll be 180 degrees, take away 127, and that would be 53 degrees. B, ABCD is a quadrilateral. B is a straight line, and calculate the side of angles A and B. Now, to work out angle A, you can see straight away that is a straight line. So angles in the straight line add up to 180 degrees. So 180 take away 129, and that would be 51 degrees. To work out angle B, now remember this is 51. You just label it. So whatever you worked out already, make sure that you label in the diagram, and that helps you to work out the next steps. So you've got A, 82 and 153 in a quadrilateral already. So you can just add them first. So 51 at 153 at 82, and that would give you 286. To work out B, all you got to do is 360 degrees, because angles in quadrilateral all add up to 360 degrees, okay? And that would give you 74 degrees, okay? Just to make sure you do all the working out using a column method if you need to. Question 2, circle the correct answer to complete each of the following statements. Now, in the worst scenario that you can't answer these questions, remember these are multiple choice questions, just circle something. Don't leave any question blank. But of course, I hope with the video you'll be able to work out these questions below. A third of a third is equal to, now in math, it just means times. So you actually do a third times a third. And we multiply across, so that would be 1 over 9. So 1 times 1, 3 times 3. So that is the answer. B, 0.02 times 0.8 is equal to, now to multiply decimals, first thing you do is you ignore the decimal first, so that'll give you 16, 2 times 8. You're going to count how many numbers after the decimal point, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to go back 3 decimal points. So 1, 2, 3. So you literally just jumped 3 hoops there. And that will be your decimal point there. And fill the rest with 0. So 0.016. Here you go. C, 1.5% can be written as percent mean per 100. Okay, so 1.5% is 1.5 divided by 100. And again, when you divide by 100, you move the decimal point twice because you make it 100 times smaller. So you go 1 twice, okay? So and fill the rest with 0, and that would be 0.015. Question 3, calculate the value of 2 over 5 times 1 over 4. Give your answer in its simplest form. Okay, so this is multiply fraction like we done earlier in question 2. You just multiply across, so 2 over 20. Now, the mistake people made here were forget to simplify this because they're in the simplest form. So just divide both top and bottom by 2, and that will be 1 over 10, and that's your final answer. B, calculate the value of 3 cubes divided by 2 squared. Give your answer as a decimal. So really straightforward, and just work out each of the number first. That 3 cubed will be 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27, not 9. And 2 squared is 4. So 27 divided by 4. You would have to use a bus stop method here. Okay, so see how many 4 goes into 2? None. Remainder of 2. How many 4 goes into 27? Which is 6, and then you have to put a point here, because there will be remainder of 3. And to continue, you need to write 0. How many 4 goes into 30, which is 7, and that's your remainder of 2. And then you continue with how many 4 goes into 20, which is 5. So your final answer is 6.75. Question 4. A cuboid measures 5 centimeters by 3 centimeters by 2 centimeters. Calculate the volume of the cuboid and give your answer in centimeters cube. Okay, so you know the volume is length times width times height. So just the 3 dimensions. So 5 times 3 times 2. So that would be 30 centimeters cube. And just write out 30 over there. Calculate the total surface area of the cuboid. When they talk about the total surface area, they're talking about all the surface area of a cuboid. So the best way to do it is just make sure that you can draw a diagram so you can visualize that. So you've got 5, and then you've got 3, and then you've got 2 over there. So the surface area of the front and the back, they would be exactly the same. So the front would be 5 times 2, and then you're going to times that by 2 because they're exactly the same. And that would give you 20 centimeters squared. The next one we're going to do is the top and the bottom. So the top and the bottom. So top and bottom. Now the bottom here is 5 times 3, so the top is exactly the same. And you just times it by 2, and that would give you 30 centimeters squared. The next one will be the right side and the left side, which is that bit there, which is 2 times 3, but you go into times 2, and that gives you 2 times 3, 6, 6 times 2 is 12 centimeters squared. And the total surface area, you just have to add them all, and that would give 62 centimeters squared. And that is your final answer. Question 5. A number n is added to the square root of 81. So n is added to the square root of 81, and the answer is equal to 7 squared. What is the value of n? So basically you got n plus square root of 81 is 9, and that is equal to 49. So your n just basically 49 take away 9, and n equals to 40, and that's your final answer. Question 6. In this question, you will be assessed on the quality of your organization, communication, and accuracy in writing. So that is OCW question, and that just means that you need to explain each of your steps, and also you have to have appropriate units if relevant. Some letters are made using only straight lines. So for example, T. Some letters are made using straight lines and curved lines, example P. Some letters are made using only curved lines, example S. SID cards spell out the name Bangor. In a game, the SID cards are placed in a bag. One card is chosen at random. The letter on the card is noted and the card is returned to the bag. If the card has a letter on it and is made using only straight lines, and the players will gain 10 points. A card with any other type of letters gains no points. Leah played the game for 24 times. Do you expect Leah to score a total of 100 points? You must show all your working. So it seems very complicated and has a lot of marks there, but actually when you break down the question, it's not so bad. So they're telling you there are 6 letters there. Some of them are straight lines. So which one is straight line? So this one will be straight line and this one will be straight line. Okay. G, it has curve, or some of them are just curve, like O, for example. Now, so we actually only focus on the one that are only straight lines because the player will gain 10 points. Other type letters gains no points. So all you got to write here is the probability of getting a straight line letters are. Okay, so there are 2 of them. Yeah, and out of there are 6 letters. So that's the probability, which is 2 out of 6. Okay, now if you're going to play the game 24 times, so how many times Leah going to get the straight line letters? So the number of times Leah going to get the straight line letters are, so what you got to do is, that is how many she's going to play 24 times, and times that with the probability. Okay, and the way to do it is you can actually do 24 divided by 6, which is 4, and then do 4 times 2, which is 8. Okay, there's another way of doing this. You can actually do 24 times 2 divided by 6 like this, which is 48 divided by 6. So that would be 8 as well. Okay, so you know that Leah is expected to get the letters 8 times. So the next step would just be how many points she's going to gain. So she will gain, and that will be 8 times 10 equal to 80 points. Perhaps just write down a statement and just saying that she won't get any point for other type of letters. Okay, and that's it. Question 7, A, B, and C, D are parallel, and then you've got parallelized, and then you've got 4x plus 5, and then you've got 57 degrees on the other side. Now, with parallelized, there are only kind of 3 angles facts that you got to remember. That the first one could be a Z, or alternate angles. The second one would be an F, and we call it corresponding angles. And the last one is you've got kind of a C. It looks like a U, to be honest, on the other side, but it's actually a C, and it's co-interior angles, and they add up to 180 degrees. Okay, these two here. But for the Z and the F, they are just kind of equals there. So you can see straight away here, these are alternate angles. Can you see a Z there? Okay, so your 4x plus 5 will be equal to 57. So just form an equation and just solve it. Now, WJEC loves angles with algebra. So just get used to these kind of questions. They always kind of comes up with angle facts and algebra. Okay, take away 5 on both sides. You got 4x equal to 52, and then x will be 52 divided by 4, and that would be 13 degrees, and that's your answer. Question 8, write down 4 positive whole numbers in the boxes below so that the range of the numbers is 6, the mean of the numbers is 5, and the median of the numbers is 4. Now, this kind of question on averages comes up every single year, and it always comes up like this as well, which is good because you know the style of the question. They always give you the range, the median, or even the mode, and then the median and the mean, and then you just have to work out the missing numbers. Okay, so the way to do it is just break it down. So you know the range is the biggest number, take away the smallest number. Okay, so that has to be 6. Okay, now the mean is 5. So the mean, the definition will be you add them all, so the total of all the number, and you divide by how many there are. Okay, so I know the total divided by 4 numbers, you got 4 numbers equal to 5. So that just means your total has to be 5 times 4, and that will be 20. So all these numbers add up to 20. Okay, right, and then the next one is the median. So the median is the middle number when in order. Okay, so you know the numbers in the middle has to be 4 here. So you can have 4 and 4, for example. You can also have 3 and 5. You also can have 2 and 6. So it depends, okay? So we could try with 4 and 4 first. So 4 plus 4 is 8, okay? So these two add up to 8, yeah? These two add up to 8, okay? So you got 20 and then you got 8. So that means this number here and this number here have to add up to, the 2 question mark had to add up to 20, take away 8, which is 12. Okay, so I can try different numbers. So say if I tried it 3, because this is in order, has to be less than 4. So my range had to be 6. So I add 6 on it. So 3 plus 6 is 9. Okay, and I try 3 plus 9, it is 12. So that is also correct. Okay, but if say I try 2 here and I try 8 here, so 2 plus 8, that will be 10, and that won't work. Okay, so your setter number will be 3, 4, 4, 9. Okay, right, there are more sets of number here. If instead of doing that number, so I just write it down, 3, 4, 4, 9. Okay, and that would give you 3 marks already, but I just want to show you we can work out another set of number. So like I've said earlier, the median is 4, so these two have to add up to 8 because there are 2 numbers in the middle. When you divide by 2, give you 4, so it can be 3 and 5. 3 plus 5 is 8, so these two are still going to add up to 12. Okay, but I can try a different number. In fact, it's just 3 and 9 going to work. There's no other numbers going to work. So another set of number would just be 3, 3, 5, and 9. Okay, you only need one of them to get 3 marks. Question 9. Express 54 miles as a percentage of 300 miles. And the way to do this, express something as a percentage of something, you just write it down as a fraction first, okay? And you would need that to turn into percentages so you can times it by 100, okay? Now, easiest way to do is going to simplify that fraction over there. So 50 over 300, what goes into both of them? I know I can divide it by 3, so I can get it over 100, because if you can get it over 100, the job is done. The top would be your percentages, okay? So I have to divide by 3, divide by 3. Now, I give you a hint how to see if a number that 3 goes into that number or not. If you add the digits, 5 plus 4, that give you 9. Does 3 goes into 9? Yes. So 3 goes into 54 wholly. Okay, so you can try that first before you do the bus stop method. Okay, so do the bus stop method. See how many 3 go into 54, how 3 goes into 5, 1, remainder of 2, how many 3 goes into 24, 8. So your top will be 18. Okay, and then it's times 100, so that will be 18%, and that is your answer. B. A car travels 100 miles in 2 hours and 30 minutes. Calculate its average speed in miles per hour. So the main thing here is you need miles per hour. Okay, I always just use that as the formula. So you need mile per hour. Miles mean distance, okay, and hour mean time. And that would be your speed formula. Okay, the distance is 100 miles. The time here, so you will have to change it 2 hours, 30 minutes into hour only. Okay, so 2 hours and 30 minutes is 2.5 hours. Now, because this is a non-calculator paper, you need to be able to divide by decimal. So just make the decimal point disappear by multiply both top and the bottom with 10. You have an equivalent fraction, and it doesn't change the value of that fraction. So you got 1,000 divided by 25. How many 25 goes into 100 first? You kind of know it's 4, so that will be 40. But if you don't know that, of course, just do a bus stop method and then you get 40 as well. So 40 miles per hour. Here you go. Question 10. The sides of angles A and B in the triangle shown below are in the ratio of 2 to 3. Now, that means this question is something to do with ratio. Okay, calculate the sides of each of the angles A and B, and they're telling you this is 25 degrees. If that is 25 degrees and you know angles in a triangle add up to 180, 80 degrees, you can actually work out the total of A and B. That's the first thing we would do first, yeah? So A plus B will just be 180 degrees, take away that 25 degrees there, okay? And that would give you 155 degrees first. Now, coming back to that ratio you got there, so you got 2 and 3, which is A to B, and you got the total of A and B is 155 degrees. So this must make you think about sharing the total in a given ratio. Okay, so that is that topic there. So the first step you're going to do is I have to actually do it here, sorry, because I'm running out of space, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is add the ratio. So step number 1, you just add the ratio, which is 5 parts. Second step you're going to do, because the total is 155, you're going to divide that by 5 parts there. So imagine it's a little bit like this here, okay? And then you've got 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts, and another part there. They should be all identical. It's just me drawing it. So that is your A, which is 2 parts, and that is your B, which is 3 parts, and the total is 155 degrees. Okay, so that should give you 31. Okay, right, the next step we're going to do is going to multiply this 1 part there, which is 31, for each of the angles that you know. So your A will be 31 times 2, which is 62 degrees, and your B will be 31 times 3, which is 93 degrees. Here you go, and you can check your answer by doing 62 add 93, okay, and that would give you 155. Yes, you know you've done it correctly. So that's your A and your B. Question 11, find the lowest common multiples of 60 and 72. Now, I'm not going to do the listing way because with bigger numbers, you will struggle with just listing all the multiples of 60 and 72. So we're going to use a Venn diagram method here. Okay, so we're going to have to express 60 and 72 in product of prime factors. So 60, you can write it down as 2 and 30, and 2 is a prime number, circle it. 2 and 15, and 2 is a prime number, circle it. 3 and 5, so they're both prime numbers, so that 60 would be 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. Okay, now we're going to do the next one, which is 72. So 72, you can start with 2, or you can start with 6, or you can start with 4. It's up to you. I'm going to start with 2, and I circle the 2 because it's a prime number, and 36. I'm going to have again 2 and 18, and I'm going to circle the 2, and I have 2 and 9, and circle the 2 again, and 3 and 3. Okay, so my 72 would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Okay, so this is how you're going to do the Venn diagram. You're going to draw 2 circles to represent 2 sets of numbers. You got 60 and you got 72. Now we're going to see which number that goes into both. So 2 and 2, I write 2 in the common area here. 2 and 2. And then you got 3 and 3, so 3 goes in there as well. Whatever left, I write 5 for the 60, okay, and 2 and 3 for the 72. The highest common factor will be that bit there. That's your highest common factor, okay? But we don't need to do this in here. Your lowest common multiple will just be everything. You're going to multiply everything, okay? So that 5 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 2 times 3. Okay, and you know this bit here is 60. So basically this bit here is 60, and you just times that with this 6 here. So your final answer will be 360. So that's your lowest common multiple of 60 and 72. B, express 882 as a product of its prime factors and give your answer in index form. Okay, so let's start with 882. I can actually divide that by 2, okay, because it's an even number. So I could have 2 and 441. Circle the 2 because that is a prime number. Now, 441 is quite a big number. The first thing I know is 2 doesn't go in there because that's an odd number. So 2 doesn't go in there. I can try 3. And the way I always do this is I'm going to add all the digits. So 4 plus 1, which is 9. And 3 goes into 9, yes. So 3 goes into 441. So I know I can do that. And I'm just going to use the bus stop method. So how many 3 go into 441? How many 3 goes into 4? 1, remainder of 1. How many 4 goes to 14? 4, remainder of 2. How many 3 goes into 21? 7. So again, I got 3, circle it, and 147. Again, 1 plus 4 plus 7 is 12. So 3 does go into 12. So 3 does go into 147. So I can try 3 again. Okay, how many 3 go into 1? None. Remainder of 1. How many 3 goes into 14? Is 4. Remainder of 2. How many 3 goes to 27? Nice. So that's very nice there. It's 49. And then you got 7 and 7. Okay, so your 882 is 2 times 3, 1, 2. So 3 squared times 7 times 7, so 7 squared. And that is your final answer. Question 13. Calculate the total perimeter of a semicircle of radius 4 centimeters. Take pi to be 3.14. So for this kind of question, you just have to visualize it first, okay? So if I got a circle and I'm literally just looking at the semicircle bit here, okay, it's just a half of a circle. I shouldn't have actually drawn the whole circle, but that's the bit that we're looking at, okay? So the radius is 4 centimeters, so that will be 4 centimeters here, okay? And then you're looking at the perimeter, so you have to work out kind of that curved bit first, which is half of a circle, and then you have to add the diameter as well. So don't forget that diameter there as well. Okay, so the circumference of a circle is pi d, so that will be pi times 8, isn't it? Because the radius is 4. So that's 3.14 times 8. To do this, I suggest you to ignore the decimal first, and then you can just use the box method, okay? I find the box method is much easier than other method that my students really like. So 300 times 8 will be 2,400. 10 times 8 is 80. 4 times 8 will be 32. And you're going just to add those in the middle there. So you're going just to add them all there. So 2 and 1 carry 1, so 5, and then you've got 2. So 2,512. You're going to count how many number after the decimal, 0.12, go back 1, 2, so that's 25.12. That's the circumference, but you want half of it, so it just, c divided by 2 will be 25.12 divided by 2, and that would give you 12.56, okay? That's not finished there. You would need to add that with the diameter, so the perimeter would be 12.56 at the diameter, which is 8, okay? So remember to mention that is 8 centimeters. And then your final answer should be 20.56 centimeters. Here you are. Question 14. Now, I already done a separate video on question 14 because it was in higher tier. So under a video called question 5, rearranging formula. Okay, so I would like you to just go to the description, click on it, and then you'll be able to see question 5, which is question 14. They are exactly the same. Question 15, express 0.0058 in standard form. Now, remember your standard form always a number n between 1 to 9. It can be 9 point something, but it can't be more than 10, or it can't be 10. And then times 10 to the power of something, okay? And that n there can be positive when your number is a bit bigger, or it can be negative when your number is a bit smaller, not negative, okay? So the way to do this is how I go from that point there. I need to put my decimal point here because my number can't be 58. It also can't be 0.58. It has to be 5.8. So I go, how many jumps I go? 1, 2, 3. So 3 jumps, okay? So that will be 5.8 times 10. Now, my number is small, okay? I just make it literally like 1,000 bigger. 5.8 is 1,000 bigger than 0.0058. So I have to go back, which is a -3, to make the number have this exactly the same value. So that is your answer. B, calculate the value of 1.4 times 10 to the power 9 divided by 2 times 10 to the power 3. Okay, the way to tackle this question is you're going to separate the number like this first and the 10 with the power separately. Okay, so 1.4 divided by 2 will be 0.7. 10 to the power 9 divided by 10 to the power 3, you just take away the power, so 9 take away 3 would be 6. Okay, now this is not quite in standard form because 0.7 is not 1. It is less than 1. It has to be between 1 and 9. So the way to do it is we're going to write it down as ordinary number first. So I got the 0.7 there. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and fill the rest with 0. So basically my number is 700,000. Okay, now I'm going to write 700,000 back into standard form, so I have to put my decimal point somewhere there. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here you are. So it's 7 times 10 to the power of 5, and that is my final answer. Question 16. A group of people have put their names forward to carry the Wales flag at a sporting event. Each person lives in North Wales, Mid Wales and South Wales. One person from the group is chosen at random. The probability of choosing a person who lives in North Wales is 0.3. The probability of choosing a person who lives in Mid Wales is 0.25. And the probability of choosing a person who is under 18 years old is 0.2. And they're telling you that these two events are independent of each other. And you just have to literally just have to fill in the diagram here, a tree diagram here. This is a really straightforward probability tree diagram. You know that the probability of an event just add up to 1. 0.3 adds 0.25, and that would be 0.55. And just do 1, take away 0.55, and that would give you 0.45. Okay, and that is just fill it in here. And they already given that the probability of choosing a person who is under 18 years old is 0.2, so that would be 0.8 because they also add up to 1. Okay, so that's the rest of the question there. B, what is the probability of choosing a person who lives in South Wales, okay, and is under 18 years old? So you literally just go across all your branches like this here, okay? And because it say and, in probability, and you times it, okay? And or you add them. So that would just be 0.45 times 0.2. 45 times 2 is 9. Count how many numbers after the decimal point. 1, 2, 3. So go back 1, 2, 3. So your final answer is 0.009. Here you are. The last question, question 17, and this is a simultaneous equation question, and it's exactly the same in higher tier. It was question 8 in higher tier. So please have a look at my video where I say question 8, and then that will be the solution for this question then.